Yes, yes, yes. At the beginning, let me welcome you all on the first sessions of referee online training on side of preparation for Ghana Barab African Games. And at the beginning, I need to say many thanks for all instructors for accepting the invitations to be a part of this training and also to be a part of the tournament. Many thanks for the acceptance of invitations. Also, congratulations for all the nominated free. And I count on them to present Africa well during the tournament. And I need from them to present themselves during the tournament. These sessions will be moderated by Charles Sanders, IWBF African President, and also IWBF instructor, Christian Rocha, IWBF Chairman of Technical Commissions, Fee, because this is I may read this name by mistake. For that, it's better to say Fei. It's right?
Yeah, Fei is good.
IWBF instructor, and my new friend Gugu. It is simple to say Gugu. Okay. Also IWBF instructor. And my old friend Charles Foster, IWBF Africa Technical Board member and international referee, and also is instructor in FIBA. Quickly, I will showing you the referees that they will attend the tournament. We have 5 international referees: Natasha from South Africa, Aya from Egypt, Karim from Algeria, Youssef Labed from Morocco, and Zupila from South Africa. I just need to mention for these referees, they must refresh their license during the tournament. For that, they will attend the exam, the theoretical exam and fitness test exam. Okay. We have in the zonal referees, we have 6 referees. Michael Paulo from Angola, Ahmed Khidr from Egypt, Faisal Saud from Morocco, Daki from South Africa, Sayi from Senegal, and Gaga from Rwanda. The 6 referees should be pass the exam to be international referees. They will get a chance to pass the theoretical exam first, then the fitness test, and then game evaluation. Okay. We have in the last 7 referees, 7 candidate referees. Mayaka from Kenya, Labani from Algeria, Akililo from Ethiopia, Obi Mai from Nigeria, Daniel from Nigeria, also Shabani from Tanzania, and Didier Katutu from DRC Congo. All these new referees should be also make the exam to be a zonal referees. And this is a good chance for them to pass the exam and get the first license for them to be zonal referees. What we'll do during this series of sessions, today, I think Faye will lead this session alone. I think Christian cannot join the sessions. For that, it take your time to lead these sessions. Second one will be in August for Gugu and Foster. Third one will be for Faye and Gugu, and last one for Charles Sanders. That's all what I have, and now I will leave the mic to Charles Sanders to welcome all of you. Charles?
Thank you very much, Mahmoud. Really appreciate it, and nice presentation. Well done. So the introductory is very clear. We have a lot of candidates, and it's going to take up a lot of our time in evaluating these referees. I just want to say both to Gugu and to Faye, it's good to see you guys again. Faye, a couple of weeks later, but there we are. We're back again. So, and this time in Africa. And I welcome you, Gugu, first time as well, to be part of the African family. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a very simple process. Okay, make sure that you are fit. Make sure that you can run your fitness exercise. Learn from previous exams on what the questions are going to be like. They're not easy, and it's a big problem with language. So as you're fully aware, Africa consists of Arabic, French, Portuguese, English, and a bit of Spanish. And the referees that we're going to be dealing with are Portuguese, French, and Arabic, as well as English. So it's not going to be an easy task for everybody, and a lot of the information is going to be lost in translation. So when we talk and we deal with everybody, if you have a problem, stop the instructor, ask the instructor, please repeat it again so that you get a full understanding of what's taking place. This is very important for Africa. It's been a long time since we've been able to hold a competition of this particular nature. We all came through COVID. We all know what it was like under the lockdown period for Africa. And this is the first big tournament that we are going to be hosting. So just to let everybody know how we've come about this, when I took over the reins of presidency for the zone, the first objective was membership. And we are proud to say that we grew from 8 members onto 23 members within a period of 18 months. Apart from that, we had to create a competition structure, and that competition structure was dividing Africa up into 5 regions. And in these regions, approximately 10 countries per region played qualification process to be able to qualify into the Afro-Para Games. This is the first time that we are running something called the Afro-Para Games. We've had qualification programs in 2020, prior to that in 2016, and so on and so on. And the idea behind it was quite simply that we ran it under IWBF. This is the first time that the African Paralympic Committee has been formed, and it'll be the first time we hold games under the African Paralympic Committee. What does that mean? It means quite simply that it opens the doors to every member that we have that has a fair and equal opportunity of competing. There are 46 games in total. It's a lot of work to do for the supervisor side. So Christian has asked me if I'd be able to help you out as well. And apart from the many other duties that I'll be at, I will try and do my best in assisting with the supervision side of it as well. But we've got 2 very capable people in Mahmoud and in Charles Forster, and they'll be able to assist you with the actual games, whether they are tagging for you on the cameras or whether they are taking notes for you. You can use them and abuse them as much as you like from the supervisor side of it. Okay. It's very, very clear from IWBF, the only people that can accredit referees are the supervisors. So between the 3 of us, it will be a decision-making on whether these referees are good enough to get to the next level of competition. I have to be very, very, very direct with what I'm saying at the moment, and our candidate referees need to understand this very clearly. Those 7 candidates who are writing for their zonal license, if you do not pass your written exam, let alone your fitness exam, you will stop with immediate officiating. You will not take place in the court evaluations at all. If you pass your fitness and you pass your examination, which means that you have less than 5 mistakes on your written exam, you advance to the next level, where you will then be court evaluated on between 1 and 3 games, depending on what your evaluations are and what you achieve in your evaluations. Now, I'm very sad to say this, but if you fail your fitness and you fail your written exam, we cannot continue with you going forward, which means one of 2 things. You either go home or you then move back to your federation and you stay with your federation. You will no longer be part of the referee side unless the supervisors want to use you as their runners, and whatever the case is. But that will be decision by Gugu and by Faye. Okay. From my side, I'm wishing you all the very best. This is not easy. It's a lot of work, but you have, as it is of today, 34 days to prepare yourself before you get into competition. Okay, this is enough time for you to run your fitness on a daily basis and get your 12 minutes in every single day to ensure that you pass your fitness exam. You're not running the yo-yo test, you're running the beep test, so train yourself on the beep test. The written exams, please, if you can get hold of and speak to your instructors, if they can provide you with old exam papers, ask for them, learn from them, and prepare yourself for the examination. It's not an easy exam. I can tell you that from past experience. Other than that, I cannot tell you anything more about Ghana. It's a hidden continent for me. We have been struggling with preparation and logistics for around about 120 days now. Our final site visit will take place this weekend. Myself and the Secretary General will be going up to Ghana, and what we'll do the final visitation to find out where we're actually going to be staying and all the other little goodies that go through with it. I have a full confidence that the LOC will meet all of our requirements. If not, there's a legal document that says otherwise. So yes, we will make sure that you are put in the most comfort as possible to perform the duties that you need to do. The venue only provides us with one court. So 46 games will be played on one court, which means we are averaging on 6 games a day. Okay, it is a demand. Now, the big problem that we're going to be faced, and I will talk to the African Commission as well as to the supervisors, is that if we do not have our candidates that pass, then the referees from zonal and from IWBF will be refereeing up to 2 games a day. So I'm asking Faye to bring a uniform along as well, okay, just in case. And
Okay.
that goes for Mahmoud as well, and Charles Foster, who still hold their IWBF licenses, although they're getting long in the tooth, okay? But I'm going to ask you both to bring your uniforms as well, just in case, because yes, it's going to be demanding, and unfortunately there's no days off. Okay, so we need to understand that if we get to worst case scenario, we'll be running 2 games on a daily basis. Okay, for 8 days. Okay, which is not going to be easy. All right.
Don't worry, Faye. He will pay more. Don't worry.
So I can have double salary, right?
Double salary. So I'm asking all of you, please, especially the candidate referees, please put your heart, put your effort into it. I know you have the capability. I've seen you officiate over the years, and this is time, your time. Make it your time and become part of the IWBF family. All right. Wishing you all the very best, and thank you very much for everybody's cooperation and time and efforts. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll move now to Faye. Ladies first. Sorry, Google. Ladies first.
Okay. So hi everyone. I'm Faye from Taiwan, and I'm here to present the IWBF instructor. And actually, in the beginning, our Christian, he would like to be here with us, but he has a very important meeting for his work with the ministry, so he cannot be shown here. Otherwise, he would like to be here, at least say hi to everyone. But anyway, we will have a chance, because as the timetables that Mahmoud give us, that we will meet a lot of times. We have 4 times before the games, and we have a pre clinic before the tournament starts. So we will have a lot of time together. And just like Charles says, it's really important that, because in my experience, it's always have problem by language. So if you don't understand what we say during the webinar or during the clinic, even during our post game, please just ask questions, because the most important here is what you can get, what you can learn. It's not what we talk about. So during this section, the same. If you are not able to stop me immediately, but at least you can write your question in the chatting spot over there, because there's a function over here. So I just briefly introduce myself. I got my license in 2009, and I got 2 times Paralympic and 3 times World Championship. And just like Charles said, we met in Dubai a few weeks before. Then I've been nominated as a referee instructor in 2019. So, and of course, I'm still active referee for sure. So you might see me in some games in the world. So, and before I start the section today, I would like to ask Gugu to introduce himself a little bit. Then we can start the section today. Okay, Gugu.
Thank you, Faye. And I need not so much time because you said everything that we need. And just for ice breaking, I can tell you, everybody, that if you don't understand, it's the problem of my language and not of your comprehension. So don't worry about this. And one serious question is, we are here for cooperate. Of course, we are here to judge at the end, but it's a long path, and so we are here to cooperate as first during the videos, the video meeting, during the clinic in Accra when we will be there, and so really we are at disposal. So don't worry about this. I am an old man, so I am not more active. And so you cannot meet me in the court if not in a supervision or instruction section. But anyway, I'm still active as instructor in my country. I come from Italy. You know, everybody, that Gugu is easier than Guglielmo. And when we will find time, I will give you the secret of why Gugu. Charles probably knows it, but Gugu has a long story, and so is good to keep and wait to be in presence to tell this. So no more speaking, and Faye, please enjoy your presentation. Thank you for your time and for involving me.
Okay,
Thank you,
Mohammed,
Gugu,
may
for
I
the
have
presentation.
to share the screen? So because you have to stop share your screen, and I can do
Of course,
mine.
of course.
So before he doing this, and you can see on the section today we are talking about the summary of the change of IWBF referee for the second version of 2023. So because actually it's not too much things for that, for sure. So if we still have time, I will talk something about the rules, and especially laws are different with the FIBA rules. So let's get started, because we hope you can get more and more. Okay, so first of all, we will change the rules, and basically we're according the FIBA. And FIBA, they will change the rules at least every 2 years, and every sometimes if they have a big change, they may announce some different change every year. So we would decide, the IWBF committee, they will decide which one is the same with our rule, which one's different. So we have to really make sure we know the difference with these two rules. Okay, so the first things we change about the teams. So basically these things is not really changed, and actually it's already changed in 2020. So the most important things is the most people who can sit on bench is 21%. So, and it's, if you check the rule things 2018 and 2020 in FIBA, that's easy. You can see they changed a little bit word, like over here, the head coach, and in the beginning it was a head coach or the assistant coach if they have. So they just change a little bit words. So for this part, we just need to make sure maxima 21%. So basically, since 2020 to 2023, it's not changed. Okay. So for the next thing is more things we talk about, and maybe many people are not really clear about this. It's about the uniform. So for the uniform now, it's much easier. So you can see from the word, they say t-shirt, long sleeves, shirts, or compression, or anything you wear under the uniform. And also other things that they can use that must be the same color. So that's what means. So now you can wear, in wheelchair basketball, you can wear t-shirt for the player. They can wear t-shirt, and that's different with FIBA because FIBA cannot wear t-shirt. So anyway, in IWBF, the player, they can wear t-shirt, they can wear long sleeve shirts under the uniform, and also they can wear the compression under the uniform. So you don't need to care about what kind of material they used. The things we need to take care is only for the color. So for now, they don't need to be the same color with the uniform. You can be different color with uniform. The only thing in the rule is must be whole team with the same color. So everything will be very simple. So this is about the short and also the things they wear under the uniform. So the other things is it's different with the about the short, because in wheelchair basketball, the player, they can wear short and also long trousers. So that's different with FIBA as well. So it's, we can pay attention for this. So I mean, in the same team, some player they can wear short, and some player they can wear trousers, means long pants. So the only thing is there must be the same color for whole team, but not necessary to be the same color with the short. So that's also the difference with the FIBA. So the things is when we have when we will have the games in IWBF, just pay more attention for some different things, small different things, to make sure you know what the rule in wheelchair basketball. And in this part, that's really easy to think about this, because not only their shirt, they also have some regulation for other things they can use, like the headgear, like the wristbands, and also the taping on their shoulder or on their arm or on their legs. So for all the things, including what we say, what they wear under the uniform, they all must be the same color for whole team. So if you know this principle, everything will very easy. So I know it's not easy in the beginning to do this, especially for the zone. So we even in the World Championship and even in the tournament at home, we still struggling for some teams. But it's very important that, especially the first day, we must be tell the teams, and all the referee must be follow the rules, and everyone do the same thing. Otherwise, the team will say, hey, we played this for 3 times, but why we cannot play in this game? So that's the thing we have to know that's really clear.
Please mute your speakers. They are playing over what the instructor is talking. Please mute your speakers.
Thank you, Charles. So that's really important to be consistent during the tournament and also for all the games. Okay, and the other things I hope you pay attention for the rules. This is all on rule books, and those what I mark is what we talk about. I mean, those things in the rules must be the same color, but for other things, the rule didn't say it must be the same color. So that's some tricky things that I mean, but most of the things we did, you can see the picture here. So you will see here that we'll have a long sleeves, long compressions under the shorts. Even that's a different color with the uniform, they will all be fine. If the team has the same black color, they will be fine. And for this picture, this woman, this lady, she had a red headgear. So if whole teams like this, they will be fine. And this will not necessary to be the same color with the uniform. It's just that every player need to be the same color. So that's the thing we have to know. And also for the headband, and also anything they put on the waist or on their arm or any tapping. So that would be very easy. Even the short, you can see this is the short one. So you can see all different kind, all different style of the things they wear under the uniform. So now the rules, it's really, really easy. Just all the player must be the same color, but not necessary to be the same color with uniform. So I think that will be very clear. Okay. Then we're going to the rule number 8 about the time. And in these rules, because some of the games, especially in the zone, and or we can or the game we have in our own countries, it's impossible to have IRS. So if we don't have IRS, we cannot make sure how many times left, even if the foul before or after the game finished. So including this kind of reason, these rules tell us if a foul is committed near the end of the quarter or overtime, if the referee think the foul is happened before the end of the game, even that's really close, and minimum there will be 0.1 second. So that's really, so you just need to put this kind of number in your brain. So if you have this kind of situation, you call a foul just almost the end of the game, but you are really sure that's before the game finish. If you can know the time, that would be good. But if you can't, or it's really near the end of the game, then as the rule, we will have at least 0.1 second. So what's the difference? That means we will never have that kind of situation that we say the game finished, but we still give the player for two free throw. That will not happen anymore. So if we still have 0.1 second, then if the foul is active shooting, then we will have all the player on the court and finish the free throw, and we still have 0.1 seconds. So that's the difference with these new rules. Then we are going to article number 9. It's the beginning of the game quarter. So for this is just talking about, actually these rules that we already used this for years, maybe more. And you can see that the team bench, the home team will sit, their bench will be the left side of the score table. So for warming up and also for the first half of the game, they will use they will attack the basket in their side. So that's the things. And also the same, the rules also says if they want to exchange, they can exchange. But if there's no particular reason or no particular situation, we just follow this. So the home team will sit on the left side of the score table, and they will use the basket near them for warm up before the game start, and also attack the basket for the first half. And of course, we change to the other side in the second half.
Yes, the spirit of this change is that the coach can be closer to the situation of a basketball that converting need to ask as quick as possible a timeout. And so this was at the base of this change. Otherwise, we don't need to do some strange things. But anyway, sorry, Faye, I would like to add this.
No problem. And also like Google says, actually in the beginning they have this kind of change. Is in the beginning it was because the COVID, so they don't want to have too much crossing things, so they stay in their bench size. Then they realize, when especially for the table official, when they doing this way, the table official looking when they get the basketball in this and in left side, that means they will go back to the other side. So for the table official, it's more easier to see where's the coach. And also, like Google say, it's easier for coach to take the timeout. So then they think, okay, that's a good way. Then they change the rule now. Okay. So for the tape off, and if you compare two different rules, you can see IWBF, we don't have jumble. We only have tape off. So all the words in FIBA, they call jumble, we call tape off. So even for the tape off situation. So, and for this one, this rules solve many problems actually, because in the beginning the rules is more complicated, but now they says in Article 12.5.2 they says the team that doesn't gain the first team control of a live ball after the tap off. So the thing is they cancel the word on the court, on the playing court. So it would make things more clear and more easy. If you don't know the rule before, that's fine. Just remember what the rule now. So if the white team, when the tape off, when the white team tap the ball out of bounds, then the referee blow the whistle because the ball go out of bounds, and red team get the ball. So according this rule now, even they didn't get the live ball on the playing court, they just get the position for throw-in. So team red is the first team to get control. That means the arrow will point to team A, white team. So that will be easier for everyone, for the table, for the referees. They don't need to remember complicated situation. So if actually for this rule, that's really interesting, because some of referee at home, they never pay attention for these things. It's very small things, but it happens sometimes. Okay, and the next things for new things is about the signals. So you can see that there's new signal for we say illegal senator. So it's if the situation is the player out of a senator, we can have this kind of signal for this. And for sure, the first thing you have to do is this, stop the time first. Whatever you want to show the signal, the first things must be stop the clock. So if that's a foul, then you use the feast for sure. Okay, so this is the new signal. And the second new signal is about the head coach challenging. So that's the way you do is like you drawing kind of TV, because we are going to watch the IRS by TV. So that's what we do this. And in FIBA, we still have a new signal for goaltending, but in wheelchair basketball, we don't have goaltending and interference, so it's not used in IWBF. And sorry, one question, Charles, do we have IRS in this tournament?
I will be able to confirm that on Monday for you. We've got the meeting right now to find out exactly who's the broadcaster. If there's no broadcaster, we will have a live stream, and I will ask the gentleman from the live stream to ensure that there is a replay system that will be placed on the actual table. So my answer to you is most definitely, but at this given time period, I need to find out who the broadcaster is first.
Okay. So anyway, if we will have IRS, so we will I think most of the referee here, you might don't have changed to use this. So don't worry about this. Before the game start, if we use IRS before the game starts, we will try to find time to talk about IRS in the clinic. So if you have any question over this, or you have some experience to use it, but you are not sure about what's the correct situation or what's the correct procedure, then we can talk about that time before the game start. So that's the thing. That's why I want to confirm with this. So if we have IRS, then we might use this signal in this tournament. But if we don't have IRS, we will not use this signal. Okay. So for the next one is for this score sheet, and that's also according to the new change. We have a head coach challenge. That's why we need to have different things on the score sheet. So that's really easy for this. And for next one is about this. This is I think it's a bigger change. So we can slowly to talk about this one. For throwing foul, actually this is the 5th criteria in unsportsmanlike foul. So we have 5 in the beginning in the rule before. We have 5 different criteria for unsportsmanlike foul. The first one's is not playable. Second is hard contact. Third is the fast break and unnecessary contact. And the fourth one is during the transition. And the last one was the last 2 minutes. If there is a foul, it's not it's the ball still out of bounds the last 2 minutes. So those are just keywords, but FIBA, they decide to move the 5th criteria out of unsportsmanlike foul and become a very specific foul in the rules. It goes throwing fouls. So I think it's really important to make everyone knows the different things in FIBA and in wheelchair basketball, because in old time, even we have the foul, even we have this 5th criteria in wheelchair basketball, but it's really rare to see that during the game, because in wheelchair basketball, sometimes before in the last 2 minutes, not only in the last 2 minutes, in the whole game, even the ball still out of bounds on the hand of the referee, sometimes it can be a normal foul on the court. So that's the different things. That's the different part with the able-bodied basketball. So in wheelchair basketball, sometimes it's normal for the player. They are fighting for their position. They are fighting to prevent the opponent to get the ball. So if this is a normal wheelchair basketball play, it still can be a normal foul. And it was written on our rule book and also on our interpretation before. But now, because the FIBA, they moved this rule out of unsportsmanlike foul, become a throwing foul. So basically, we follow this. So we also move this rule out, move this one to Article 34. So for this one, we still have this kind of article here, but please pay attention for this. We only call it become a throw-in foul only when it's not a normal wheelchair basketball play. So it's the same principle, it's the same spirit for what I talked before. Not only the last 2 minutes. In wheelchair basketball, even the ball still on the referee's hand, it's also have changed to have normal fouls on the court, if that's a normal wheelchair basketball play. So what is not the normal wheelchair basketball play is same principle with the criteria 1 actually. So if you are a referee, if you want to fit with this rule, so the thing is, first one, it's not a normal wheelchair basketball play. Second, it must be the last 2 minutes of the game. Then you can, if you call a foul on the court, it's not a normal wheelchair basketball play, it's the last 2 minutes, then it's a throwing foul. Then you have applied this rule. And for the penalty, there will be 1 free throw, and the team got the fouls still have the precision. So that's the spirit and also the principle for this foul. Okay. So for this, we have 3 questions about this throwing foul. So the first one is, if the ball is out of bounds and there's no I've been blocked. So the first question is if the ball is out of bounds and there is a normal blocking or pushing foul, is it a regular foul? So referee do not implement the rule regardless of the time of the time. So the answer will be yes, because if it's a normal blocking, it's a normal pushing foul, that means it is a normal wheelchair basketball movement. That means in wheelchair basketball, it makes sense to have a normal foul, no matter the time, even in the last 2 minutes. Okay, so that's why the answer is because the contact is judged as a foul, but it's a normal wheelchair basketball play. So it's just like we said before, the spirit in wheelchair basketball. So it's just a normal foul in this kind of situation. Okay, So for the second question is, if it's a play that is not a wheelchair basketball play, so you can see, it's also the way you can start learning how to reply the answer. You need to find out the keyword during the question. So it says in the beginning, it's not a wheelchair basketball. So it's not like, so this kind of situation is holding from behind, or it's a hard pushing. So actually in this kind of situation, we can give this kind of situation as an unsportsmanlike foul, no matter the time. So for this kind of situation, the question is, can be still called an unsportsmanlike foul for criteria 1 or 2, or the referee have to go with this new throw-in foul because of what's written in the rules. So the answer is no. Referee must call unsportsmanlike foul if they judged that the foul goes under criteria 1 to 4. So you can see the different things. Why they, in the beginning, the throw-in foul supposed to be 2 free throw, but the reason they change it become only 1 free throw is they think it's not so big contact, but anyway they call the foul. I mean, that's in FIBA. It's in able-bodied basketball. But in wheelchair, for us, the situation can be a normal foul on the court. It can be a normal wheelchair basketball situation. So in the other hand, if that kind of contact is a very serious contact, fit to the criteria as unsportsmanlike foul, and we should give this kind of contact as unsportsmanlike foul. So that's a really important thing that we must make sure in the beginning of the game and in the end of the in the 40 minutes, we must have the same criteria for this kind of contact, especially in wheelchair basketball. Okay, so the answer is we just need to see if it fits our own criteria to 1 to 4. Okay. Then the third question about the throw-in foul is, the new throw-in foul replaced unsportsmanlike foul on all throw-in of the game. So of course it's no, because throw-in foul is only for the last 2 minutes of the game, and it's not normal wheelchair basketball. Not normal wheelchair basketball movement. And like what we say before, if that's those kind of criteria is fit to the criteria 1 to 4, we still need to give them unsportsmanlike foul. So in this kind of reasons, the answer will be no. Okay, so that's the 3 questions about the throw-in fouls. And for this one mostly is talking about the especially C3 and C4. So basically, it's not changed in wheelchair basketball. And the things is, for us, we need to pay attention in this kind of situation is, if they already the situation, if this kind of situation is the crossing pass situation in wheelchair basketball. If the 2 player is in parallel and they are going to the basket during the fast break, of course, before the active shooting start, because according the rules definition, the criteria 3 and criteria 4, that must be before the contact must be happened before the active shooting start. So we are not talking about those situations after. So if this situation, the two player already be parallel, if the player tried to a crossing pass, but he fell, in this kind of situation, that's the specific situation in wheelchair basketball that also written on interpretation. So in this kind of situation, there will be a normal foul. So that's the things I want to remind everyone about this rule. So that's the part of the new rule change. Is anyone have a question about this? Or do we have anyone writing the questions beside the... No? So if not, Google, do you want something to add?
I can add something, but I don't want to be too focused or to destroy a rule. Just a reflection after your explanation, and I like very much the point that says please take care about how a question is written, because if a question starts is not a normal wheelchair basketball play, probably the answer is inside the description. But in your opinion, I'm speaking to the referees, in your experience also, you think that in wheelchair basketball a free throw foul exists? Because in my opinion, it's not possible.
Yes.
Is a sportsmanlike foul or is a normal wheelchair basketball play? So, okay, know the rule, but do not focus too much about this, because this is my personal opinion, not as instructor official, but just speaking about between people that knows the rules and have a personal opinion. So in my opinion, it's very difficult to have this. And I'm not sure that in wheelchair basketball, we have to think about this rule only in the last 2 minutes, because it's not written that it works in the last 2 minutes and is different from FIBA. But there was also a question during the last refresher clinic, and an Italian referee made a mistake answering yes. So I'm almost sure that this rule applies from the beginning to the end of the game. But don't worry, answer correct to the question, but never happens, in my opinion, of course, this kind of foul. This is just to speak about. Add your opinion. Don't read only the presentation that Faye made very well. If someone has something to add, I think it's possible. No.
It is possible to add.
Is good to be interactive. So please do not be shy. Do not hesitate if you have something to add or to ask, because was too technical, the language was too quick. I don't know. Everything is okay. Perfect. So I have the good way for the next appointment next week. Nice.
I'm totally agree with Google. Don't be shy to ask any question, even if you're feeling this question is not a good question, but you have to ask.
Every question is a good question.
Of course. We can go back to throw-in penalty to make it more clear about how we can resume the game after the penalty.
Which one? Here?
The throw-in foul, which is the penalty, is not written. Okay.
Okay, but we need it to be more clear. It's one free throw but how I will resume the game. This is very important. Why? Because throw in foul in wheelchair basketball can happen in the beginning of the game. Okay, we can imagine that we have a throw in foul in a front court and the ball is still out of bounds in the back court. Where is the foul was happened? It happened in a front court. What I will do after the one free throw, I will go to the nearest point from the infractions and I will start or resume the game. In this case, the team will get the ball from the front court, but he will take 24 seconds. It is very important to mention for that. I will give the team 24 seconds because he still have 24 seconds in a back court and the foul was happened in the front court and I will resume the game from the nearest points from the infractions. For that, I will give the team 24 seconds. Very important. I'm correct or wrong?
Yes, correct. And thank you, Mahmoud. And another question to people. We hope never happens, but you think that during the start of the game, so the top-off situation, there's a lifting?
Yeah, it's very good question.
And
you are
then
mute.
What
right?
happens to the arrow? What is the consequence of the lifting?
Very good questions. Anyone have the answer?
Yes.
Let's go to the referees first.
Of
Anyone
course.
can answer this? Don't be shy. Please answer and don't worry.
Or if, you know, sometimes they cannot answer immediately. So everyone can write down the answer and you can reply in the end. I will leave some time for you to think about this. Then you can reply it before we finish this webinar today. So that will be less pressure for them. Okay, so like we say, we will have more time. So we are going to for some rules. And before this, I also agree with Google. That's why we have the presentation have 3 questions to make you thinking about the different things between wheelchair and the FIBA. So in the 3 questions, you all can see that we have to think about the contact. The most important thing is what happened on the court. If that's the kind of foul supposed to be fit to criteria 1, then we call unsportsmanlike foul. If we're doing so, that means we don't fit for the throwing foul for the new rule. That's why Google have this kind of thinking. It's almost impossible in wheelchair basketball actually. So and that's for the rules, and that's for talk about the words. We go back to the court. If we go back to the court, the ball still on your hand, and you saw some contact, and actually we still have time to stop them. And sometimes we can use this kind of preventive officiating to avoid to a call in very important game, important timing of the game. Everybody knows last 2 minutes is really important. So what we say is like Google says, if you do the rule test, the answer must be according the rule says. But the rule is really important. You use the rule when you need it. But during the officiating on the court, sometimes we don't need to call everything on the court. So if the ball's still on your hand, you still have time to use preventive officiating and to manage the game well and make the game play really smoothly. So that's the thinking we're supposed to do on the courts. Okay. So and I will repeat the question for the Google, and you can write down, and someone can reply this question before we finish the webinar today. So Google, the last question is, what happened when we have tape off and one of the player be called a lifting foul, and how we resume the game? Okay, so that's the question. Okay, let's go. So let's go to the rules.
Go.
So
Please all write your answer on a chat. Don't forget all. It's a simple question, but just take your time to thinking the questions. It's very simple.
okay, so I really like this picture actually, because you can see even I stand on the court, the player sit on the chair, they are still taller than me. So, but you know, I realized that that's my advantage to officiate wheelchair basketball. The reason is, for officiating wheelchair basketball, you need to pay more attention on the wheels. Whatever the contact, or you want to see the three pushes, you want to see the small contact during the active shooting, it's really important to look lower. So as my height, that's perfect wheelchair basketball. Okay. And this is a really cute made by JWBF, and it's a little bit shorty, introducing for wheelchair basketball.
For beginners. Wheelchair basketball rules are very similar to normal basketball rules. Games are played with 5 players on each team. Each game has 4 10-minute periods.
Are you sharing something?
Share your screen feed.
Because I'm still looking at the presentation.
Yes.
So you
Close the presentation first.
Put
Close
on
the presentation first, and then share new screen.
Okay.
No problem.
I should share one more time like this. Got that.
Yes.
So you didn't see the picture.
No, so you can start. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the picture, what I say. The player taller than me. Always. Okay. So let's go back to the video.
Wheelchair basketball rules for beginners. Wheelchair basketball rules are very similar to normal basketball rules. Games are played with 5 players on each team. Each game has 4 10-minute periods and are 40 minutes long. There are 3 differences with normal basketball: traveling, double dribble, and classification points for teams and players. Players use their hands to propel their wheelchair. This is called a push. Traveling occurs when a player pushes 3 times or more while carrying the ball. Powerful pushes help players travel longer distances. There is no double dribble rule in wheelchair basketball. Players can dribble as many times as they wish, as long as they resume dribbling within 2 pushes. Players dribble by throwing the ball in front of them and pushing, which is unique to wheelchair basketball. Wheelchair basketball players also use special wheelchairs. These sports wheelchairs with inward tilted wheels provide more mobility and agility compared to normal wheelchairs. However, they are also difficult to control, and they actually do not have any brakes. Sports wheelchairs are tailor-made for each player's body. Finally, the most important rule for wheelchair basketball: team and player classification points. Players are classified into 4 classes depending on their physical capabilities. Points are assigned to each player in half-point increments from 1 point for heavy disabilities to 4.5 points for the lightest disabilities. The total points for a team's 5 players on court may not exceed 14 points. This total is the team's points. This rule gives players with heavy disabilities and light disabilities equal opportunities to compete in games. Wheelchair basketball, a sport with nimble wheelchair moves and slick ball handling. Go watch a game to experience the speed and power of wheelchair basketball.
So actually, I really love this video, and as you can see, all the different about rules, the different between FIBA and IWBF, mostly is because of the wheelchair. Because of the wheelchair, we have definition. So what kind of chair they can use, and we need to a definition how they play with the wheelchair, like how to push it, what's the limitation for the push. And because the limitation, so we don't have double dribble rules. And because they sit on the chair, so we don't have goaltending and interference. But because they sit on the chair, that's why we have lifting foul. So if you think this way, that's more easier for you to know the difference between FIBA and IWBF. So we can go start for this kind of thinking. So same again, this one's not taller than me, but almost the same height, but they still have short player. Anyway, okay. So I think this really important things is for the wheelchair. I see Charles smiling. Okay. About the wheelchair, that's the most important thing we have definition. The things is you just think about wheelchair is a part of the player. So the 2 big wheel will become their 2 feet. 2 feet, yes, 2 feet. Right wheel, left wheel, right wheel, they will become their left feet and right feet. So that will be easier for you to think about the rule about backcourt violation. So it's really easy to, change from FIBA rule to IWBF rules. So if you think about the rule, the wheelchair is a part of the player, so everything will very easy. Okay, so about this, they are talking about what happened if the rule is not fit to a rule. If the wheelchair is not fit to rule. So for this kind of situation, that means if you use something fake to get advantage, that means if your chair is dangerous or your chair is too high to get advantage, in wheelchair basketball, it's not allowed, and there will be very, very heavy penalty. So the ruling here is there will be disqualifying foul immediately. So it's not only you cannot play, or it's not only unsportsmanlike foul. It will be disqualified fouls. So there will be very big, very heavy punishments for this kind of cheating situation. So then, of course, not. I think I'm not sure which kind of maybe different event they will have more regulation for this, but as a rule, if the referee discover during the game they realize the player using a chair, it's illegal, then this player must be disqualified. So you were asking how. So basically, during the tournament, before the tournament starts, we will have commissioner to check the chair about the height of the chair, about the height of a horizontal board, something like this for safety, and that means if they didn't change the chair, all the player will use the legal chair during the game. So that's also the other reason why this punishment is so heavy. Because they already checked, you use the one and you cheating and change the chair, try to get advantage. So this is a big thing. So what will happen during the game? So sometimes, if usually that happens during the game, the other team's coach may realize, no, his chair is too high. And then the coach, they can ask the referee, they want to have the chair checking during the game. So in this kind of situation, the referee will talk to the commissioner. Then if they decide to do this, then realize, yes, the chair is illegal, then we will apply this rule. That player is supposed to be disqualified. But if this chair is legal, so everything is fine, then there will be a technical foul to that coach, us delay the game. So that's the rules, and that's what really happened during the game. Okay. But be honest with you, I never see this, but Mahamud showed me a clips that happened during the Paralympics in Rio, I think. So it's happened. Okay.
It happened, and
yeah.
Please don't forget your tape measures on the table official, please.
Oh yeah, and yeah, just like Google says,
in front of table official.
Because sometimes
we have to do the measurement in the front of table official.
Yeah, sometimes we don't have a very, the very big group, ITOs, everyone there for checking the chair, everything is really good. If you go back home, we don't have this kind of, so many people help you. You might be the only one can do this. So sometimes referee need to do this. So yeah, like Google says, bring your own major. And for this
can
one,
I add something before left this?
Mm-hmm.
Can I add something?
Yeah,
for
sure.
disqualification, the player and the chair will be disqualified from the game. What that mean? That mean no players can use the same chair. We should disqualify the player with the chair. Not allowed for any other player in the same team to use this chair. This is to be clear.
Of course.
Thank you.
And even they, doing that again, and for the next game, and they realize it, again, disqualified. Okay, so for the next one, we have this kind of rule. We have this rule about the height of a horizontal bar. The reason we have this kind of the height limitation for horizontal bar is, as you can see the wheelchair, here. The horizontal bar means the bar in front of the chair. So how high is the chair, what kind of shape is the chair, the contact point usually will be the horizontal bar. So that's why we need to have a very clear definition of the height of the horizontal bar, for the height of the contact point. If two chairs have different contact points, that will be happened if one chair is too low, then the chair will go under the other chair, and the other one will easy to falling down. And so the main reason for this is for the safety. So we will see the rule says on the rule, there will be the horizontal bar is 11 centimeter, but we have 0.5 up and 0.5 down. So how to measure it? That means the middle of, you can see this is 10.5 and 11.5. So the middle of your horizontal bar in this kind, the middle of your horizontal bar in this area, then means that will be fine. Okay. And the other thing is for the height of the seat, and it's according to the classification for the player. So the numbers, just remember the numbers for for rules actually. But I think it's not happened. You know, I never see that in the exam actually. Too easy. But you must know for as you want to be a referee on the court, of course. And the thing is for this, because some of the player they have using different caution. I mean they sit on different cautions. Maybe the have different shape for the cautions. Whatever the shape of cautions, we just measure the highest point of the top of the caution. So even the shape is like, you know, it's really high in the beginning, in the front, and very low in the end. We just find the high points, the highest point for the caution. Okay. So that's the chair. Then you can see that in rules. So I think the other things is it happens during the game. We say if the player, we say the wheelchair is a part of the player. It's kind of their body. So during the game, if something wrong with their body, we need to give them time to repair. So the time will be 50 seconds. If they can fix that, like they need to change a wheel, or they need to use something on the chair, they need to replace it. If they can complete it, they can finish this in 50 seconds, they'll be fine. Otherwise, they need to be substituted. Okay. So the other things we need to pay attention about this is when the player falling down. So actually, we will spend more time for this topic because this topic is really important, and it's necessary to use clips to make everyone understand this. So we will talk about this during the clinic for sure. But in the beginning, I just give you some very general thinking. The principle is if the player falling out of the wheelchair and no fouls, the timing for the referee to stop the game is only 2 reasons. The first one is player in danger. Wherever the player is, if you think the player in danger, stop the game immediately because the player is the most important. The safety for the player is the most important. And the second situation is when the offensive team, they get the ball and the ball carrier, not the player falling on the floor. The ball carrier asks to stop the game. And because it happens that why we can stop, because the offensive team, they stop to play the game. So the only one who really can stop the game is the ball carrier. So it happens on the court is someone falling down on the floor, but his teammate keep playing, and the one who was on the floor asked you to stop. No, we can't because they still playing. Okay, so that's why we say if the offense team requests and they stop the game, then we can stop it. Okay, then we will pay more. We will pay more time for this.
2 steps
I think
before,
yeah.
2 step back before the next argument, and I have interrupted who? Sorry, who was speaking? No problem.
I was just going to say, Gugu, that what's very important with a injury to player is that the referee must be competent at all times. Have a look at the player. If there's any blood situation, stop the game immediately. That's most important. Okay. Secondly, unless what Fei has just stated here, where the offensive team requests the game to be stopped, if the player has fallen and is on fringe and is in no danger whatsoever, the game will continue until there is a request for that game to be stopped or at the nearest stop ball situation. So, for example, player falls into the backcourt, there is absolutely no danger whatsoever. The player is not impeding playment or movement. Continue with the game until there's a dead ball situation, and then call for the player to get back into the chair. But if there is blood in any situation, or if there is head contact in any situation, you as the referee's duty, stop the game. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Gugu.
You're welcome. And my 2 steps back before it's too late was about disqualifying foul in an unfair behavior. So as Faye shows in the presentation very well, when you have to check the chair, there's a lot of points you have to check. You have to check the bar, you have to check the wheels, 69 diameter, and so and so. Okay, but think about this. Not every violation of this check occurs in a disqualifying foul, because sometimes you can crash between chairs and the bar can move. So is no more in the normal level to be okay for being the game, the wheelchair. But we have to think about the unfair behavior of the player. So where is the unfair advantage? If your bar is 5 centimeters, 0.5 centimeters higher or lower, nothing. But if you put a towel under the cushion and you sit tallest than all the other, this is an unfair. And the same if you change the wheels and start measurement with the 68 and put a 69, that okay, the wheel is okay, but if you use another wheel, you start moving toward a higher position. And so something can happen. During Euro Cups, really more than one situation like this. And the question to the referees is, if I have a random check, I decide, okay. If I had a coach check, I need to go. But anyway, how can I do this measurement? With the player in the chair or without the player? It's simple. But sometimes I saw someone measuring in the wrong way. It's written in the book. So it's easy. With or without the player, please turn on the cameras. Let me see that you are really there and give me an answer. Also the wrong one. Come on. Mahmoud, give me your answer, but try to awake the group, please.
I sent the question again on chat, and we can receive the answer on the group. We can give them more time and receive the answer on a group. I think this is a good suggestion.
Yes,
acceptable. Acceptable.
Without to see that someone is not sleeping. It's just.
I need just to give them more time to think in these questions. It is simple.
Not technical. It's just psychological. So okay.
I just need to remind all referees we have 2 cases in this question. First one, if the ball legally touched, and after that we called the lifting foul, and if we called the lifting foul before the ball legally touched to start the game. We need to answer on these questions.
Yes.
Okay, but we'll receive it on the group, because I think the time is elapsed, and I think the meeting will finish now.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So
You
we
can
keep
continue
going.
Fee until the meeting is finished.
So we keep going for this, and so Charles says, if the player is bleeding, that means what I mean also play in danger, also including they are bleeding, or after very big, like he hit his head, but that's also one of the reason we say he is in danger. So that's the most important to see the safety for the player. So if the player in danger, whatever the reason, just stop the game immediately. Then the other thing we can think about how to make the game play more smoothly, and if we need to stop it or not, then we will have more more discussion about this topic in the clinic. And for the next one, it's about the team. Now we talk about the new rules about uniforms. That will be easy. And the other thing is, the interesting for the rule for us is playing barefoot is not permitted. That means they cannot play with if they have feet, they cannot play without socks. So they can own that. So the question here is, Team A wish to play with a combination of plain suit, trousers and the shorts. That's what we talked before. So yes, it's legal. They can, the same team, someone wear shorts, someone wear trousers. So it's legal. The second question is, A4 is playing with socks instead of shoes. Yes, it's illegal. If he has socks, that means he is not barefoot. So it's only barefoot is not permitted. So easy. Then about how the ball starts, go back to the same principle, same spirit. Wheelchair is a part of the player. So if they use their wheelchair to kick the ball, the same thing with in able-bodied basketball. In able-bodied basketball, they kick the ball by feet. So but the thing is, it must be they mean to do this, not by accident. So they do this by deliberately push the ball with the wheelchair. That will be the same violation. Okay, so that's the thing we can think about. It's the same spirit. If you think about wheelchair is a part of their body, this is easy. Okay. So for control of the ball is, this rule is sometimes people not pay attention for this one. So this kind of situation is in wheelchair basketball, we only allowed wheels and hands on the floor. If we have other parts of our body, that means our arm, our legs, or even our the side of big wheel, or the structure of the chair, not the wheel, that means the body on the floor. And in this kind of situation, the player with the ball control the ball or attempting to gain control of the ball, that will be a violation. So the situation here, you can see let's go, this next one is easier. This one's really clear. Line number 4, he got the ball falling down and his foot rest touch the floor. So let's check this again. So, okay, he got the ball, he almost falling down, then his foot rest touch the floor, not only hand, not only wheel, his foot rest touch the floor, and he's in control of the ball or try to get the ball. This is a violation. Okay. So that's the things we might be, be honest with you. In my first game for my whole life for the wheelchair basketball, I don't know what's this. So that's the things we need to put in our data. This is kind of our, our brains, our database. We need to put more and more situation in our brain, not only by our games, also by learning, by watch games, by learning from the teacher materials. So in this kind of things, then now, so after now, you can put this kind of rules. You can put these rules in your brain, in your database, and tell yourself, when you see this kind of situation on the court, first of all, stop the game because it's a violation. Stop the game clock, then shows it's a violation. And actually, we have in the rules, we have a special signal for this one. So that's also your homework. Go back to find in rule book. You can find this in rule book very easy. So we have the I will ask you guys in our clinic. I will, when we meet each other, not in the webinar, because I don't know what you're doing, after screen. So when we meet in Africa, then I will ask you this question: how we do on the court? What's the signal? Okay, so that's your homework. Okay, then about the value of the goal, this is, we say the wheelchair is about a part of our body. So 2 big wheels will be our 2 feet. So, but in wheelchair basketball, if the things is related to the score, that means we have to decide that that's a 2 point or 3 points. We only see the 2 big wheels. But if we are looking for the position for the player for out of bounds for 3 seconds, for standing for the position for the boxing, for the rebound, for the free throw, for the player for free throw in the key. So that kind of position for the player means whole chair. So that's the difference. So basically, the location on the floor for the chair is the location for the player. But only when the situation we talk about the score. So for this is 3 point or 2 point, we only look the big wheel. So during the game, you will see that maybe small wheels, the casters will be on the 3-point line, but 2 big wheel is outside of the 3-point line. If they shoot over there, it still be 3-point shots. So, and same with the free throw. For the free throw, the free thrower can position themselves, and the small wheels or the casters may on the line, but big wheel is behind the free throw line. So only these 2 situations, we watch the 2 big wheel for the score. And also the other things, when we talk about backcourt violation, when there will be more we talk about when we will talk about this when we see these rules. Okay, so for throwing, the different things is when the throwing situation, no offensive player is allowed to enter the key before the ball at the disposal of the player for the throw-in. So that's the rule, is more specific for wheelchair, because we all know for wheelchair basketball, fighting for position is really important. And if you are higher and you are closer to the key or closer to the basket, you will get more advantage. So in this kind of reason, we have this kind of special rules for often. Of course, defense team, they can be there in the key before the through in, or before the player in out of bound, before he get the ball. But for the offense team, they are not allowed to enter the key before we give the ball to a player for throwing. Okay, so there's a situation here. That was a out of bounds situation, and white team want to get the ball here. Oh, sorry, blue team want to get the ball here. So you will see the situation. In the beginning, we will have 2 blue players here. So for the referee, we must make sure no offensive team in the key before we give the ball to them. So if we have the ball and some offensive players still in the key, then we can ask them, we just ask them to get out for the key, because they was in the key. They need time to go out. Okay, so since everyone went out, okay, so now you can see no one. So for now, you can see no blue player inside. That means for referee, yes, you can give the ball to the player for throwing. And right before he get the ball and someone get in before. And he tried to get the position here. So according the rule, this is a violation. And that's what I say. According to the rule, this is a violation. But same with what we talked before for preventive officiating. If they don't read, the reason we call violation or we call the foul, because they get an advantage. So if we still have time to prevent it, then the game will be better. We don't need to stop. We don't need to make things too complicated on the court, because if you call a violation, I promise you, you need to explain what happened on the court. You need to spend more time to do this. So if you still have the ball on your hand, just ask them out. Make sure to tell, even you can warning them, hey, everyone go out. So that will be easier for you to doing this, and you don't need to call violation actually. Okay, so that's a rule. I mean the special rule in wheelchair basketball. Okay.
We are so lucky, and we have an advantage. You know that in this situation we have to make the warning whistle before giving the ball. So the referee, before making the warning whistle, must be sure to have checked all the position of the offensive player, because the spirit of the rule is that everybody need the same opportunity to play basket. So well said by Fei, if you are taller, the tallest guy, and you put inside of the key, we are sure that you can receive, because in our sport we cannot jump. So occupying spaces is the meaning. And in this situation, as referee, we will fix it in the clinic, of course, but we can pay attention to warning whistle. If I decide that it's okay, I make my whistle with and give the ball. If you try to anticipate my giving the ball, you can be the best player or you can be wrong. If you are wrong, you lose the ball. No more preventive officiating. This is a violation. It happened, a violation. Otherwise, to be preventive officiating is the best way. Also to give some feeling with the player. I don't want to fuck you. Sorry for ladies. I want to help you. If you don't understand, you lose the ball. It's your problem and your coach problem. Probably something happens, a substitution or I don't know what. But I give my job. I did my job completely. Thank you, Fei.
So basically, when you think I'm not sure if you have this kind of experience with lecture give you the for myself, I would like to speak more things about the why and what's the reason for the rule. That will be better to make everyone to understand why we will have this rule, and that's the reason how we use the rules. Otherwise, we have 50 rules and that's too much. And so you can see how much questions in interpretations. You cannot remember everything. Even I say you can put it in your database, but you cannot remember everything. The most important is you must know the spirit of the rule, why we need this rule. And the most important thing is, Google and we talk about the preventive officiating is the reason is we are on the court, but our rule, our permission is to help the game. We are not to be there and show everyone, okay, I know this rule, this is a foul, and this is a violation. It's not like this. The most important thing for referee is to make the team supposed to win the game, and make the game play smoothly. So in this kind of situation, we need to think about what's the contact, what's the violation, what kind of things is important for the games. That's why we need to be here. Everyone need to be here to learning what's about the rules, and we need to learning for the next section from Google what we need, what's the principle of the contact, how we decide who is legal, who is illegal, who need to get the foul. So that's why we need to learn so much knowledge to help us to have a good game on the court. If you know more things about this, that will help you to be a better referee on the court. So it's not only about how many fouls I can call on the court. So to think about how to help the game. And in the other hand, even myself now, I think the same with Google. We're still learning. We're learning every time. Not only because the rule is changed every year, what I said in the beginning, it's also we still have a lot of situations we never saw in our career. Even mine already have 15 years. Google must have more, but we still have a lot of things we never seen in our life. And how we solve this kind of things on the court, how we do this, you have to learn. So the most important thing is, the reason Google and I ask a question to you guys, and we ask you to have a homework, is you are the main person to learning, not us. Because those things, we already know it. And you are the person who want to be good on the court, to show yourself, to be a part of the game, to help the game on the court. So I don't know what's the reason for you to be a referee on the court, but at least you need to be qualified on the court, not only for the license. Also, you need to be good on the court to make the game play well. So please, learning hunger, and we are here, and be honest with you guys. It's my first time in my career that we have so many sections in one event. Right, Google? It's never happened before. Even we have 4 times webinar before this. And we also still have a lot of sections during the clinic. So it's never happened for me. That's why you can see the Charles and Mahmoud want to help you guys. So please don't be hesitant to ask question, or your question now will not change your score. Your score is only according to what you do on the court. If you don't ask question now, you will make the same mistake on the court. So fix the mistakes now is better than what you do on the court. Okay, so I think it's about me today. Then for the rest of the rules, we'll find the time to do in the rest of the time. So then I will stop sharing the question. Then we go back to the first question for Google.
We had an answer. Technical foul, 1 free shoot, and return to tap off. And this is a good answer with the old rule. Think about what we learned today. We said something happens, we change. We don't need to obtain the control of the ball on the court. And so what happens? Think that the main purpose of the instructor and to let you think about the rules, not only to read the rules together. So think about this. After this change, only 1 tap off, no more, because something happens, and what happens, it is of course different way of starting the game. If I tap off the ball outside, I know I give my ball when I am out of bounds, ready for throw in. But if there's a lifting situation, I agree that is a technical situation. So someone must have the ball in his hand to make the free throw.
Yes.
It's the control of the ball. And so, help me. If the blue one lifted and the white one make the 1 shot free throw, who got the ball? The white that made the free throw.
Yes, the shooter.
Are you sure? Yes, please give me an answer. Yes, it's
The
simple.
shooter, yes. Shooter will get
The shooter. So
Yes.
the team of the shooter. And so we never come back to another tap off situation because we had a team that got the control of the ball. And so the arrow will put at the favor of the other team.
the
This-
arrow.
This is just this. The other question was that we have to measure the wheelchair
Sure.
without the player sitting in the wheelchair. So I know that there's a way. If I have a big cushion and I sit on it, probably the cushion will compress and is a different height. We are sure about this because it's Charles makes yes with the head because it's the old way. No, you know that now we have a different rule. In the past, we had the low players can use a cushion till 10 centimeters, and high players they can add a cushion with 5 centimeters. That is the same because you start with from 53 and reach 63 or 58. But anyway, if you have to make to have a control of the chair to establish if it's correct or not, you must ask to the player to come back in the bench and leave alone, pass me the term, the chair for the check.
And ask him, don't touch the cushion. Because I say that because the video that Mahamud showed me, it was the player touch the cushion and want to show the referee what happened inside, but I don't know. Anyway, if that's a chair checking during the game, that's a serious thing. Make sure you tell the player, hey sir, please, we need to do the chair checking. Don't touch anything, and you left the chair. You leave the chair. Then we measure this. So yeah, so that's why we, in the situations during the game, we may need you to, for one situation, we may need maybe 3 or 4 different rules to know what kind of foul is it, what's the penalty, and how to resume the game, how many times for the shot clock. So we need a lot of rules to in one situations. So it's not only to put the rules in your mind or remember everything. Even you can write down everything. It's not the most important thing. The most important thing is you can use it, and you know how to use it. Okay, so I think it's about the time.
Yes.
So yeah.
So, especially for you that you are 6 hours in front of us. So I think that Charles can close the meeting. Thank you.
Yes, once again, Faye, thank you very much indeed. A lot of important information, Gugu, a lot of backup with that information as well. And I see the referees were extremely quiet. Okay, so the start of it is that you're going to be bombarded with a lot of information before we get into the actual workshop itself. And then with the workshop, is just a repetitive of what we are basically to get it inside your minds, is what Faye has been saying from the beginning. Get it here now, because when you write your exams, this is what the questions are going to be. So very importantly, listen. There's one thing that I have established in all the years of being involved in wheelchair basketball, is that when the referee supervisors tell you something, it's because it's in your exams. A little hint. Okay? So whatever they are telling you, whatever questions they are asking you, believe me when I say this, you are going to get questioned on it. Make note and listen. All right. Thank you very much for all of your time. I know it's late on all the different sides of the world at the moment. Faye, absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much. What is going on 4 o'clock in the morning now, your side of the world. I want to say thank you for your time. Okay, the Italians are still having coffee at this given time, so don't worry about it, okay? But thank you very much, everybody, from North Africa, East Africa, Central, South, and of course, West Africa. Good night for the time being. Mahmoud, over to you.
At the end, I need to thank you all for this time, especially our great instructors. Thanks, Fee. Thanks, Google, and also thanks, Charles, for your time. And keep learn, keep reading the rules, read the interpretations, and if you found any questions, you have to send it for us or share it with us during the upcoming webinars. Thanks for all, and see you next week at the same time.